Everyone.
Good morning, everyone. It is Wednesday, March 26th, 2025. This is a meeting of the Town of Brookhaven Local Development Corporation's Audit Committee. Following members are present: Mr. Callahan, Mr. Pally, Mr. Rose, Mr. Scheit, Mr. Braun, or is present. First order of business is we got the minutes for our meeting of March 26th of 2024. Can I have a motion?
So moved.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Maureen, I'll turn it over to you.
Okay, I want to introduce the LDC's external auditors. We have Jeff Tivoli, the partner from PKF O'Connor Davies, Beth Casey, our manager for PKF O'Connor Davies, and Julio Sanchez is the supervising senior on the account. At this point, Jeff, I'd like to turn it over to you to present. Good morning.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody. Thank you, Lori. How's everybody doing?
Good. Good morning.
Good,
Jeff.
good. Good morning. Good morning. A little technical difficulties, huh?
Technology.
It's Elon Musk's fault. All right, thank you. I can make one promise, and I can not make a promise. The promise I'll make is I'll be very quick, and the promise I can't make is that it'll be painless, but I will make it as painless as possible. Lori, do I have ability to share?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Everybody see that?
Yes.
Okay, good. Thank you. So, as introduced, I am Jeff Tivoli, the audit partner for PKF O'Connor Davies, the auditors for the LDC. And this morning I will be going through a presentation on the results of the audit for the year ended December 31st, 2024. Just a quick agenda, status of the audit, some financial highlights and required communications and some other things. Status of the audit. The audit is substantially complete. We are ready to issue. Their last item before we can issue is for Lisa and Lori to sign a management representation letter. These financial statements have been reviewed and approved by management, and we anticipate issuing an unmodified or clean opinion on the financial statements. Some financial highlights: the corporation's net position, which is the assets over the liabilities, at the end of 2024, were just under $400,000, a slight decrease of $30,000 during the year. The assets decreased primarily due to a decrease in cash stemmed from cash used in operations. Liabilities decreased also slightly by a couple $1,000, and the operating revenues total $4,000 versus $10,000 for the prior year, and there are no project closings during 2024. The operating expenses for the year were $54,000 compared to $67,000 in the prior year. Decrease was primarily due to a decrease in travel and conference and professional fees, and non-operating revenue, which everybody knows is interest income, related to the fact that in the current financial environment, we are now yielding something on our cash. So because of the proficiency of Treasury, there was a total of $20,000 in interest earned during the year. So required communications. I won't go through these in great detail, but our responsibilities are outlined in our opinion. In our engagement letter dated November 20th, 2024, and those responsibilities include forming and expressing an opinion, obtaining reasonable but not absolute assurance about the financial statements being free of material misstatements, communicating with those charged with governance, which is this committee, maintaining professional skepticism, and in communicating the related matters of our professional judgment that is significant to those charged with governance. RSI is required disclosures in the financial statements, and we do not express an opinion, but there's nothing that came to our attention to indicate that the information provided to us was not sufficient to express opinion. This is just a disclosure on the Yellow Book, which is we perform certain tests on certain laws, provisions, regulations, contracts, and grant agreements. And our objective is not to provide an opinion on those compliance. Your responsibility and those charged with governance, fair presentation of the financial statements, maintaining effective internal control, complying with laws, regulations, and grant and contract agreements, setting the proper tone at the top, and designing and implementing policies and controls to prevent and detect fraud. Qualitative aspects of accounting practices are broken into various categories. One is accounting policies. And the important thing here is to note that we noted that no transactions that were entered into by the corporation during the year for which there was a lack of authoritative guidance or consensus, and all significant transactions have been recognized in its proper period. Significant unusual transactions is also a consideration for qualitative aspects of accounting practices, and no matters have come to our attention that require us to inform you about the methods used to account for significant unusual transactions. Management's judgments and estimates. Certain accounting estimates are particularly sensitive because of their significance to the financial statements, and we have determined that there are no sensitive estimates affecting the corporation's financial statements. And lastly, financial statement disclosures, we determined to be neutral, consistent, and clear. Part of an audit is determined based on management's assessment of going concern, which means that the entity has the ability to continue as a viable entity for a reasonable amount of time. And management has made that determination, and we concur with management's assessment that the corporation will continue to as a going concern from 1 year from the balance sheet date. Significant risks are part of every audit. We disclose here that management override of internal controls, financial statement presentation and disclosures, and that audit procedures applied as a result of the aforementioned risks were designed to and have reduced the risk of material misstatement to low. We're happy to report that we have encountered no significant difficulties in dealing with management. We note that there were no such misstatements corrected or uncorrected identified during the audit, and that there were no disagreements with management in the conducting of our audit. As I said, the last item to wrap up the audit is to get the representation letter. After this meeting, we will email over the representation letter to be signed by Lisa and Lori, and we have included in this packet a copy of it. Part of our responsibilities as your auditor is to affirm that PKF O'Connor Davies is independent, and we affirm such. We generally discuss a variety of matters, including the application of accounting principles. This is known as opinion shopping, and we have determined that there was no items precedent to our being appointed as your auditors. And as I said, we expect to issue an unmodified opinion. These are just this is another required communication under GAS, government auditing standards. It talks about deficiencies in internal control, material weaknesses, and significant deficiencies, and we did not identify any deficiencies in internal control that we consider to be material weaknesses as defined above. Here is just a couple of items that are coming down the pike in the way of new standards, new governmental accounting standards, 102, 103, and 104. The most significant of them is GASB 103, which is a rewrite of the MD&A. I don't really think any of these are going to have a material impact on the LDC's financial statements, and they are all not effective until the year ended December 31st, 2026, so 2 years down the road. This is, as I mentioned, the draft of the management representation letter that will need to be signed by Lisa and Lori prior to our issuance of the financial statements later on today. It is routine. It is lengthy, and it is industry standard.
Does anybody have any questions for Jeff or me?
Hearing none, I think we need a motion to accept the report.
And recommend it to the full board.
So moved.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. I need a motion to close
LDC and then.
the audit committee meeting for the local development corporation.
So move.
Is there a second?
Second,
All those in favor?
aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. It is now 10:24. We'll open the meeting for the Town of Brookhaven Industrial Development Agency Audit Committee. This is March 26, 2025. First order of business to accept the minutes of the meeting of March 26, 2024.
So move.
Is there a second?
Second,
All those in favor?
aye.
And I should have mentioned the following board members were present: Mr. Callahan, Mr. Talley, Mr. Rose, Mr. Scheit, Ron, or was present, or is present, excuse me. Lori?
Okay, I'd like to introduce the IDA's external auditors from PKF O'Connor Davies. You have Jeff DeVoli, who's the partner, Beth Casey, who's our manager, and also Julio Sanchez, who's our supervisor in the account. At this point, I'd like to turn it over to Jeff DeVoli, who's going to go through our audit results.
Thank you very much. Everybody see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, good. Thank you. I will go over the agenda for today, which is the status of the audit, for some financial statement highlights, and some required communications and other matters. I will be moving relatively quickly since I believe all the board members have been through this in prior years. So I will make it as brief as possible. Audit fieldwork is substantially complete. The only item open before we issue the financial statement is a signed representation letter to be sent by us to Lori and Lisa and signed. And we anticipate that we will be issuing an unmodified opinion on these financial statements. Some financial highlights for the year. The agency's net position was $10.5 million, which increased by $1.1 million during the year. This compares to $9.4 million for the prior year. And net position is broken into two categories: unrestricted, which means it's available to maintain the agency's continuing obligations, and a small piece that is designated for its investment in its capital assets. As I said, the net position increased by $1.1 million in the prior year compared to 2.7 for the 2023 year. Assets and deferred outflows of resources, which relate primarily to pensions and OPEB obligations, decreased by $65,000. Excuse me. This change was primarily due to an increase in cash balances, in unrestricted cash balances, and a decrease in restricted cash balances due to the Ronkonkoma Hub project. Liabilities and deferred inflows of resources decreased by $1.2 million, largely related to the aforementioned release of escrow liabilities from the Riverhead Hub project. Sorry, was there a question?
Oh, no, I was just mentioning, you said Riverhead Project. It's.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I?
Okay.
I'm sorry. I apologize.
We have an extra
Thank you.
bit.
Sorry about that. Changes in deferred inflows and outflows of resources relate to, as I said, to pensions and OPEB obligations. And the agency's operating revenues, there's a typo here, actually decreased by $1.8 million. Apologize, we'll resend this. This is not an incorrect item in the financial statements, just for purposes of this presentation. So we'll resend this with that correct. But operating revenues decreased by $1.8 million, from 3.6 down to 1.8, primarily due to closings during the year. The agency's operating expenses also decreased slightly by $6,000, from 1.35 million to 1.34 million, related mostly to a decrease in administrative salaries and benefits, a decrease in depreciation expense, offset by some increases in items such as advertising, public relations, special project expense, and office expense. Required communications in an audit are broken down into various components. professional standards, planning, and scope. Our responsibilities as outlined in our engagement letter dated November 20th, 2024, forming an opinion, obtaining reasonable assurance, but not absolute assurance about financial statements being free of material misstatements, accumulating uncorrected and corrected misstatements and communicating with those charged with governance, and which is this committee, and maintaining professional skepticism. And there are other disclosures in the financial statements, OSI and RSI. There's a disclosure here on those. Information, other information and documents contained in the audit financial statements. Important to note here that nothing came to our attention that caused us to believe that there is any such material inconsistencies existing in the financial information, and that it contains material misstatements of facts. Yellow Book is a set of procedures that we perform related to laws, regulations, contracts, and grant agreements. You, as those charged with governance, have certain responsibilities, including fair presentation of the financial statements, maintaining effective internal controls, complying with said laws, regulations, grants, and contracts, providing us all accurate records to complete our audit, setting the proper tone at the top, and designing and implementing policies and controls to prevent and detect fraud. A financial statement audit includes certain aspects of qualitative nature in accounting practices broken into accounting policies. We noted no transactions entered into by the agency during the year which contain a lack of authoritative guidance or consensus, and we've determined that all transactions have been recognized in a proper period. Unusual transactions, no matters have come to our attention that require us to inform you about the methods used to account for significant unusual transactions. Management's estimates included in all financial statements is estimates and matters of judgment. Those largely contain to actuarially determined OPEB liability, proportionate share of calculations of pension liability. That's the push down liability from the state for pension liability, and the assets and lives of depreciable assets. Financial statement disclosures. We determine that the financial statement disclosures are neutral, consistent, and clear. And part of an audit is assessing management's assessment of its ability to continue as a going concern or an operating entity. And we concur with management's assessment that the agency will continue as a going concern. Significant risk we talk about here, management override, financial statement presentation and disclosures, and the audit procedures applied as a result of the aforementioned risks were designed to and have reduced the risk of material misstatement to a relatively low value. We did not incur and encounter any significant difficulties in dealing with management and the performance and completing of our audit. There were no items of corrected or uncorrected misstatements. We had no disagreements with management in the conduct of our audit, and we thank for the cooperation of Lisa and her team, Fred, Lisa, and Lori, and the entire team at the IDA for assistance in the audit. As mentioned, the representation letter is the last item of a checkbox for purposes of issuing the financial statements, and we will be sending that over to Lisa and Lori today for signature. We are required to confirm for you and affirm that PKF, your auditors, is independent as relates to the agency. And there were no items contingent upon our hiring as your audit, also known as opinion shopping. And there are a couple new accounting disclosures. One is GASB 101, compensated absences, which was effective during the fiscal year, did not have a material impact on the financial statements, and require us to issue a what's known as an additional paragraph in our audit report. That does not mean that our audit report is modified. It's just bringing the reader's attention to the fact that there was a new auditing standard, accounting standard rather, that was issued during the year and effective during the year. We did not identify any deficiencies of internal control that we consider to be material weaknesses as defined in the report here. And there are a couple new accounting standards, none of which I believe will be material to the financial statements of management, other than possibly a rewrite of the MD&A management's discussions and analysis, which is essentially a clarification of the MD&A and an expansion of the language in the MD&A. These three audited, I'm sorry, these three accounting standards are all effective 2 years hence for the year ended December 31st, 2026. Here's a draft of the financial statement representation later that we will be sending over later to be signed by Lisa and Lori. And does anybody have any questions?
Questions for Jeff? Need a motion to accept the report?
So move.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Before we let Jeff go, it's not uncommon for the board to meet with the accountants without management. Does anybody have any reason or request to do that? Hearing none, I need a motion to adjourn the meeting.
So moved.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much, Jeff.
Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody. We appreciate the cooperation during the audit. Have a good day.
You too.
Thank you.
All right. We will now open the meeting of the Town of Brookhaven Local Development Corporation. It is Wednesday, March 26th. It is 10:35. The following board members are present: Mr. Callahan, Pally, DeRose, Ms. Scheit, Vaughn. A quorum is present. First order of business is to adopt our minutes from the meeting of February 5th, which have been sent to everyone, 2025, that is. Their motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Question? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Lori?
Okay, we had a presentation at the audit committee from the external auditors, PKF O'Connor Davies, where they presented our financial statements in great depth, and the committee has accepted their report in draft format that we would further issue. So we would be looking for the board to approve that, as well as included in your packages was the sections of Paris that are required to be filed. So, and that mirrors the audit. So both of those items are up for the board's review.
One motion?
No.
Or you need separate,
What's that?
you just need separate motions for Paris and the audit?
No, altogether.
But I just want to say, I don't think that we're ready to submit Paris just yet, so we want to go through it, we want to fine tune a couple of things, more so on the IDA than the LDC, so I think the expression is in form and substance.
Yes.
We'd like you to accept it in form and substance with the understanding that we're gonna, go through, maybe clean up a little bit.
If there are any issues, Lisa and I will discuss it. If it's substantive, it'll come back, but I don't think there will be any.
And my expectation is it will be late to, the APO because it's due on the 31st, and I don't think it's gonna be, ready. Maybe the LDC.
The LDC,
Might
right.
be in on time, not the IDO.
Is that a first for us? Is that a first for us?
No, last year.
Oh, okay, all right.
But, you know, there are other reasons for that. We need access to certain systems.
So we should borrow it.
Yep. Got you on that one. Got you on that one.
Her office.
All right.
Anytime.
Getting
I need a
ghosted.
motion to accept the audit and file Paris.
So moved.
Second. Questions? Hearing none. All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Here. Brookhaven Industrial Development Agency meeting, it is 10:38, Wednesday, March 26th.
We didn't have a motion to close
Yeah.
the other.
We have to close it.
Close that, the LDC.
I apologize.
That's
Motion,
So moved.
second,
Second.
all those in favor?
All right.
We are closed.
Now.
Now I will continue. Following members are present: Mr. Callahan, Mr. Pally, Rose, Ms. Scheit, Mr. Thrawn, quorum is present. Need a motion to accept the minutes of our meetings of February 5th and March 13th of this year.
So moved.
Second,
Second.
Questions? Corrections? Hearing none. All those in favor? Opposed, motion carries. Lord,
Okay, included in your package is a draft copy of our annual Paris report. We're presenting it for approval in form and substance. We're still reviewing and making tweaks to it, but I just want to point that out. Also, earlier, we had a presentation to our audit committee from the external auditors, PKF. And we received a clean opinion. There were no further questions or follow-up. So both of those items, Paris and the audit, were presenting to the committee, the board for approval. So both the Paris and the
I
audit.
have a motion.
So move.
Second.
Second.
With the same.
Callahan, you have a question?
Yeah, form and
No,
substance.
Form and substance, Paris.
No. All
Well,
those in favor?
because they've been doing things in unison, so they're trying to.
At least you're paying attention. You're paying attention?
I might not look like I'm paying attention.
There we go.
All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carried.
Oh, so the first, yes, so the first item on the agenda is an application for, they're in
Oh,
from,
I'm sorry.
they're in on Zoom, so if you wanna let Dan in and Joe in.
Got it.
And before we begin to talk to those folks, I think that I should recuse. I am not now, nor have I ever been an employee or received any remuneration from BioCogent, but I have known Joe Chicoli for many years, since the company was a resident in the Long Island High Tech Incubator when I was on the board there. I also talked with him about the space that he is now occupying in the High Bay area of the Innovation and Discovery Center and the R&D Park. And I just don't want any of those past connections to appear to have any influence on whatever this board may decide about this application.
Joe, you look skinny.
Thank you, Fred. And no one can rock a yellow shirt better than you, so happy spring.
Thank you.
And then Anne Marie is, does she need to read the table? She's fine.
Yeah, can I just shut up, or should I?
I agree.
Yeah, I don't think you need to recuse at all,
But she could say.
you, all right, so you can,
Thank you.
it'll be a middle ground kind of. Okay, so BioCogent is the next application on the agenda. It's in your packets, and obviously we have representatives if anyone has any questions, and the action is to accept the application. Anybody have any questions for them?
Dan or
Happy to
Joe,
answer
you
any
just wanna
questions.
explain a little bit? Joe, you want to just explain what you're doing a little bit?
Yeah, sure, absolutely, happy to do it. So we've put a stake in the ground in the industrial center out there in Bellport. We started with the first building and then have now expanded to 2, and this will be the third. The idea is to graduate, the long overdue graduation from the high tech incubator. And these buildings now, so the first building that we are currently occupying already, and we will have a grand opening and you all will be invited. The first building is my operations center and warehouse. So we had to build all that first, which we have done. The second building, which was the first building that we actually acquired, is manufacturing. Blueprints are in the town right now. And that will be for our process manufacturing. That is the biggest lift in terms of retrofitting the facility. And that's underway, and the town has the prints for the interior alterations right now. The third building that we're talking about now is for our R&D center, R&D and biomanufacturing. So the plan would be to put our research labs in that location and put our bioreactors in there as well. Putting us all together in one location. The buildings are next to each other, so we'll cut paths between them, buy a hot rod golf cart to zip around, and it'll get us all at one location so that we can continue focusing on growing the business. We are constrained right now with space at the high tech incubator, and it really is not a conducive environment for manufacturing. We've expanded our customer base. We're in 22 countries. All the product we're making is coming out of Stony Brook right now, believe it or not, in the order of hundreds of metric tons. And this facility will enable us to, instead of being at 95% capacity, put us back to around 25% or so, and give us room to grow.
Yeah, and if I may, good morning, members of the board. My name is Dan Dornfeld. I'm an attorney with Forcelli, Deegan, Tirrena. We were in front of you just over 4 years ago about the first building, which was 19 Pinehurst Drive. And we talked about it then that we were going to try to build a high-tech campus. And Joe, to his credit, really has achieved that. After we acquired that building, the building that he's talking about is we leased 15 Pinehurst Drive. And this building is 9 Sawgrass, and they're all adjacent to each other. So we were very lucky to get those 3 buildings. The building we're talking about today is 17,000 square feet. Currently, they have 42 employees. With this building in play, they expect to hire at least another 6. And these are not line workers. These are highly compensated scientists, really. Their average salary is $129,000. And as Joe had mentioned, this will allow them to keep research and development in the area and not have to farm it out elsewhere. The building, we're buying it for just under 2.6, but the total project is going to cost the company $4.25 million. So they're expensing a substantial amount of money to get this done. We are asking for sales tax and a pilot. Our original application also asked for the mortgage recording tax abatement, but all of this is going to be financed internally. So we're no longer seeking that. And if anybody has any questions, we're happy to answer.
Howard?
Yeah, I just want to ask you, are you certain you want to take it off the table right now, or you want to wait a little while to make certain that's the way you want to go?
We've had a lot of conversations about
Okay.
it, so I think we're ready to pull it off.
Okay.
Thank you.
Joe and I have been talking about a building for his corporation going back to 2013, I think, when I was at Gyrodyne. And in hindsight, I'm glad you didn't pull the trigger on anything over there. Just a question for you. The tariffs, proposed tariffs, going to have a major impact on the business?
Yeah, it could, but and thank you for noticing the weight loss. Setting up this project has caused me to lose 60 pounds. So, and that's eating a lot of hamburger helper without the hamburger. But the tariffs are actually, I'm using them to our advantage actually, because we have a lot of partners globally, a lot of manufacturing partners globally as well, and we're trying to sort out ways of we can actually ship product around legally, of course, by doing intercompany transfers and stuff. So sure, it's affecting us. We do buy some very specialized materials from Asia that are inputs to some of our materials, but we've been paying the tariffs on those since we started those projects 7-8 years ago. So we have not seen an effect right now, other than the global uptick in costs for everything. So far, it's been manageable, but we are actively looking at all the potential pitfalls that could come out of this. So currently, we're not in any bad shape.
Any other questions from the board? John?
Yes. Joe, would you just give a quick brief overview to the board about the products that you produce and how it's rooted in biotechnology? I'm just unfamiliar with it.
Sure. So, and Dan, I just wanted to correct one thing. The building is actually 10,000, I think, square feet. 17 is the 15, I think. I just wanted to get that. Yeah, but 15, 12, and 10. So we are in, the fancy terms are topical dermatology, right? So we are producing skin active materials that we sell into 2 primary markets. One is med care. So if you go to any hospital, you'll see products from a company like Medline. They're a big customer of ours. And then we also sell these ingredients into derm or Dr. Derm lines, as we call them, and also skincare companies that like an Estee Lauder. And these are the materials that are, either OTC or one step below an OTC, but deriving true effects. Giving an example, we are about to launch a product for acne. And instead of using chemicals to cure acne, we've actually have isolated bacteriophage, which are viruses that are exclusively focused on attacking bacteria. So there's been an evolutionary split in viruses, those that attack people and mammals and animals, and those that don't. We're harvesting and growing these phage, and we are packaging them, and you spray them on your face, your pillowcase, your football helmet, whatever, and it will completely eradicate the acne bacteria on the skin or on whatever you contact with it. And the beautiful thing is, once the bacteria are done, they're killed, the phage are no longer viable, they disintegrate, and it's gone. So, high tech, but without having a pharma, an RX on it.
Thank you, Joe. I'll take two.
There are no further questions. I need a motion to accept the application.
So moved.
Second,
Second.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Joe. Dan?
Thank you very much. Very much appreciated.
Take good care, Joe.
Hey, be well, everyone. It's good to see you all.
And
Thank
noted
you.
that in
All right.
future.
Bye-bye. So we'll disconnect now, Dan?
Yep.
Okay. Bye, everyone.
Oh.
I'm gonna suggest that we take the next item out of order since we have a guest here who's been very patient waiting as we went through audits. The next, so we're taking some things out of order. The next item on the agenda is the Vineyards at Quorum, Ornstein Leighton Company. This is a final authorizing resolution. The cost benefit analysis application and a bunch of supporting information is in your package. We had a public hearing yesterday and there were no comments and no participation.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I will recuse myself from this conversation and discussion. Thank you.
It's a final authorizing resolution. Does anybody have any questions for council?
Dan, you remember who the financing was? I don't. I'm sure they have it secured. Okay. I need a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Excellent. Thank you all very much. Thanks for stopping by.
Thanks
Bye.
Always.
Thanks for the visit.
Can someone grab Mitch?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got it.
Lisa, I just want to make you aware, Golf contacted me. They're gonna come on at 11, if that's okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
I think at the time it will be great. Okay. And to go back into the order of the agenda, the next item is JB Risk Services. That's our insurance risk manager. I realized that in her current contract, we had it so that she was capped at a certain number of hours. With approval, she could go over that number of hours, and I noticed that we kept piercing that cap. It's because she does an insurance review for us for the project and then again for the GC, but we had it set up just for one review per project. So what I'm suggesting is that we change her contract and then re-adopt the resolution so that she has the option for 3 hours of work capped for the GC and then another 3 hours for the client. It won't always work out that way, but that's what we've been seeing. It seems like it works out that way most times. And when I reached out to her about that change, she actually said, I was about to just ask you to increase her hourly rate from $250 an hour to $300 an hour. She has not increased her rate with us since she started, and it's been a number of years. So those are the two changes. Annette looked over the contract a little while ago and was okay with how it was set up legally. So the question is, are you guys good with those changes? And, if so, can we have a resolution, updating the contract and just reaffirming her as our risk?
Do we pay her and get reimbursed, or it's directly paid by the client?
So, we pay her and we get reimbursed, and then sometimes she does things just for us
Just-
about
yeah.
our insurance, and then that's just directly through us.
Okay.
So, but for the most part, we pay her and we get reimbursed.
So the changes will make it more equitable for both sides, for us and for her. In
a process.
In a process,
Process.
right, that's what I
It's
meant,
easier.
that's what I meant,
Yeah,
yeah,
yes,
okay.
because I kept having to approve her going over.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why, if we know that this is where it is, what are we making it a threat?
Okay. So move.
Second,
Second.
any other questions? All those in favor?
All right.
Opposed? Thank you.
How refreshing it is to hear that we will have a reality-based standard,
We try. sometimes.
unlike other situations, which we need not go into.
The next item on the agenda is Angela's house. And I think Brian Egan is on if you want to bring him.
Oh,
in.
sure, yeah, I just.
So this, there's a letter in the packets, and they are requesting a voluntary termination and requesting that we do not claw back the project. Does anyone have any questions? And
Hey, Brian.
Hi, Brian.
Is their
Good
counsel.
morning, good morning,
Morning, Brian.
morning.
Want to
Yeah,
give
I'm
us
here
some-
if anyone has any questions, but, you know, it's unfortunately a tragedy of the non-for-profit donation world, on this project, but, you know, it was a amazing project, and we appreciate the IDA's help with this great project on, reusing, generated supplies, but really it's much like the use of Habitat for Humanity. That was the model, and unfortunately, with the state of the economy, those donations have disappeared.
Questions for Brian? Your approval, we're gonna terminate, but we need your approval not to claw back.
So move.
Second,
Any other questions? Or any questions? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carries.
Thank you.
Thanks, Brian.
Take care, Brian.
Bye-bye.
No, but they're moving out of the buildings.
Oh, they are.
Yeah, so.
Do they own that building or not?
No,
they-
third party owned.
Okay. Where the, used to be a big furniture store, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I went in there one time, yeah, a while ago, but could have been pre-COVID, but
I think it's everything.
yeah.
Yeah. they're
Yeah,
bigger
makes
than
sense.
both.
Makes
Um,
sense.
The next item on the agenda is a sponsorship request from the ABLI. They're having their Long Island Real Estate Dinner on June 12th at 6 p.m. So I guess, do we want to sponsor? Does anybody want tickets? Do we want enough tickets to warrant making a table?
What's the sponsorship?
The sponsorship is, there's options. Let's get to. Platinum for 10,000, gold for 5,000, silver for 2,500, bronze for 1,000. Bronze for 1,000 comes with one ticket.
What have we done in the past?
Well, it's ABLI and SID done together, but it's from ABLI then. They requested it. Usually we just take tickets if anybody wants a ticket. But for $1,000, you get one ticket, signage in the program, company logo featured in a looping video feed throughout the entire event, company logo featured in the Long Island Business News advertisement.
What do you say, Fred?
For
Well, the problem is when
$2,500
we take on sponsorships and it comes with X, we always have trouble filling those. Probably better off just taking tickets,
Okay,
I think.
whatever, yeah.
Does anybody want a ticket?
Yeah, I'll go.
I'll probably go too.
I'll go.
Is this ABLI?
Yeah,
Yeah.
on
June
on
12th,
June 12th,
What was it, the breakfast?
no, 6 p.m.
6 o'clock. Where
Yeah.
is it?
It is at the Heritage Club at Bethpage.
Oh, Bethpage, our favorite place.
I said, I got a seat with your name on it there.
It's all
It's
right.
the place.
You're right.
It's the
I thought this
place.
was the other one.
What happened to the Crest Hollow?
That's something very expensive.
Well, so, you have, I mean, 2,500 is free tickets.
So do that. Do, if you don't have an extra ticket or somebody would go.
Mhm.
Fred, you gonna go?
Mhm.
I'll go.
And if Mitch is gonna go, that's two, so we might as well take three and
I'll go.
maybe,
You're going?
maybe, no, I didn't say I would go, but if it comes with 3 tickets, I'm sure by June, somebody will say, I'll go,
All right. So
correct?
$2,500 for a sponsorship and 3 tickets.
That's what I'm saying, so we might as well do that, yeah.
All right, is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
I got to go.
Okay,
We got one.
yeah, we got one more thing, it'll take 2 seconds, 2 more things, it'll take 2 seconds though. New York State EDC, we got a request to sponsor the, the conference at Cooperstown. In the past, we have taken a diamond sponsorship. I think in the past it was 5,000, this year it's 5,500. Like eggs, everything, no?
That's to pay for the eggs at the dinner.
There you go, yes, for the breakfast. So I put it out there if anybody is, if we want to take a sponsorship.
We should do that.
We should do it.
Yes,
we should
absolutely.
do
Yep,
it.
yep.
For them, we should do it.
I noticed we weren't on it when you sent out that invitation.
Well, because we.
I
didn't
know,
sponsor
I
yet.
know, I know, I get it. Yeah.
Who moved it? For the
Mitch.
record, Mitch.
Oh, no, I,
Is there a second?
What, I'll move.
Yeah.
Second.
second, yeah.
I will recuse as a board member. All those in favor? Opposed? Thank you.
Okay, the only other thing I just want to mention before we bring Dugal in to discuss our updated logo, the humans of the process, is that yesterday late, we got the first draft of the first part of our housing study. So I honestly have not even opened it because I had the pleasure of watching a very bad movie with my daughter last night. Rather have read this, but. So you wanna
Bring 'em in?
Bringing them in.
Yeah. In your packet is the updates that they sent as possible changes to the oh, yeah, that's not it. Oh, no, that's right.
Did you find that anyway?
So that's me.
It's,
Snoop around a little bit.
yeah,
It's not one.
the Dugal name is way at the end,
Oh, it's Thursday.
Oh,
Right.
okay, I got
Friday.
you.
way at the end of the
Friday.
line. There it is.
Yeah, so.
Friday the 28th.
Mhm.
Round 2, okay, I'm not looking around 2,
Amy,
okay.
can you hear us?
Okay.
You guys are muted.
Hello?
Uh,
Oh,
Hey, Mitch. I got something
Joseph.
this morning saying that one of the big warehouses were rented.
hi, Damien.
There we
Hey,
go.
guys.
Now I'm on.
I didn't know if you were ready for us, so I kind of muted myself and hid myself.
I guess they popped stuff up.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen.
Hello, everybody.
Did you guys?
Something popped up that said,
Did everybody see, I put in your packets, the
Yep.
proposed, do you wanna,
Mhm.
do you guys wanna share them on the screen? How do you wanna do this?
I don't know if they can share it.
You should be able to share it.
Let's see, hold on.
If not, we have it. We could just open
we
it.
can
so
look
talk
at
it-
Okay.
talk it through.
I can pass it around.
Okay, yeah,
Um,
6B in the packets. The first page. Okay, so then if you look at the second page, that's the logo that we chose for our the second round of edits. If you go to the fourth page, group 1, that was after our last meeting where we discussed some possible edits.
you're right.
That was the feedback that you guys gave, we shared with Dugal, and this was their incorporating those edits. So there's, I don't know what page we were on, but group one, and then if you keep scanning, you'll get to group two. They're
Yeah.
similar, there's some differences.
That's what we're
One
thinking.
has, I guess, a square over the I versus group two, which has the outline of the town of Brookhaven over the I, and we had them incorporate the line with the arrow. I guess it really is like a, it's the
Yeah. that's what I was
whaling
thinking. Exactly.
spear from the, sorry, that was hard for me to say. I was gonna say spear, and that was not right. From the Donegan patent, the town's seal. And then we also had them get rid of the words Industrial Development Agency, because IDA is there, and add the expression Build Brookhaven. If you scroll, to the second to last page, you'll see both of them on the same page together. So you can kind of compare and contrast. And so the point of this meeting now is to get your feedback for further tweaks and further edits and further massaging of the logo. Anybody have any thoughts they'd like to share?
Well, yeah,
Go ahead, Amber.
Just pick up a little, Anne Marie.
okay, sure enough. The Donegan patent, that's the funny shape, as the dot of
No,
the
no.
I.
That's the outline of the town of Brookhaven. If you look
Okay,
at Brookhaven on a map.
that's what it looks like. Yeah, but who's gonna know that? I just worry that people are gonna look at it and say, hey, is that a bird? Or is that, what's that? Oh, and the block dot of the I is a nice clean shape. So that's the way it struck me.
Okay.
And my one comment was, I think it looks like almost DA when you look at it, so I was wondering if we could do the I one color, the D a contrasting color, and the A a different color. I mean, the same as the I.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make?
I agree with Lori, some distinction between the I and the D, because I do see DA also sometimes, so I don't know if the D needs to have a line to make it obviously, like to close it, so it's not just a backwards C, or.
I mean, a simple option might just be to make the stick of the eye the same color blue.
Right,
Yeah,
that's why
there
I change the color, make the I and the A the same color and the D a different color.
I had the same thought that you did, Anne Marie. We're the only ones that know what that blob is.
Yeah, no, that's true. Yeah.
I looked at it, I thought it was Texas.
So then,
Okay, so the map is out. Let's just call it out, because it sounds like it's a pretty clear
Yeah.
consensus.
what do you guys think of group one?
EOB.
Yeah.
It's gonna be.
Oh, I'm
slightly
asking,
bigger.
I'm asking you guys who did the drawings.
Oh,
Yeah.
if you want,
Your opinion, you do this for a living.
So I think I kind of like the dot of the I to be regular. I don't know that the map is really doing it for me at this scale.
That's
The dot
So,
would make it.
I think it's,
Do you think if we made the dot a circle, like a
Exactly.
normally dot,
Jake,
that way
I
you would
agree.
distinguish the eye better?
I mean,
think it's
it might, we can play with that for sure.
It's
First,
present.
weird shape.
I kind of
different.
like that it's gridded, almost like a window in a building, right? So it shows almost like invisible mullions. So I kind of think it kind of leans into the whole building thing. But if you guys want to try it rounded, we can try one rounded. Obviously, the whole eye be one color. We can try one with a round dot. I don't know that round is going to look stick out like a sore thumb, because it
I
does.
think round is gonna look like a mistake.
Yeah, I don't know if it's
Yeah.
gonna lean into.
Sorry, I brought it up.
No, it's fair. These are fair statements, like.
What's your opinion again?
Yeah. But the
But see,
color-
I actually like the map. So I'm leaning with you guys to the dot. See, the map makes you question, what is this? This is interesting. Maybe I should look further.
My thing about the map is
These
it works
Whoa.
big. It doesn't work small. That's my thing with the map. So when you start putting this on business cards and letterheads, it may just look like a blemish of ink and doesn't really relay
yeah.
as
What would happen
the
if-
map. Like,
what would
if you
happen-
guys in your lobby over your reception desk and it's nice and big, then there's no doubt someone's not gonna be able to recognize it as Brookhaven. But as soon as you start doing printed collateral, I think that's where the map dot gets lost.
I think,
What would happen if you used the map as the background?
We can do that, and then we can knock out the letters to be all white. But again, are you gonna see it as an outline of Brookhaven or?
Here's a question.
Hey, Nancy, here, you remember and have someone-
I don't know the answer to that question.
I know it's
Because
the,
I've seen a lot of these, not for IDAs,
Mhm.
where the map is the background and the
Mhm.
letters are, so you get both. But only if we want the map. If we don't want the map, I'm more than happy to take the,
Yeah,
The
it's
It's
up to you
great
guys.
if it's, like you said,
if
great
it's
if it's
big.
Texas or
Yeah.
it's New York or
Yeah,
a
it's
place
fine.
that has a recognizable
Yeah.
geographic shape.
Right,
Yeah,
like
like
if this
one-
was all of Long Island, you would be in a much better position,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think,
No, I
probably
like
taking.
one. Yeah.
Just change the color of
I
that one.
just change the color of the eye.
Change the color of the eye and,
Make it one
I
color.
think it will look good.
I mean, that's.
What do you guys think?
I don't like the map. So
Oh, okay, all right,
Okay.
but if they would take group one,
My
Change
only
group one.
thing is that the distinction between the I and the D, I feel like.
Yeah.
you're gonna change the color.
If you could
Change the color.
change the color.
That's where the circle
Yeah.
comes in.
I would think,
That's
so the consensus is,
Does everybody like Bill Brookhaven?
yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
oh, yeah,
Yes.
100%.
oh, yeah.
Okay, well, that was
Yes.
consensus.
Yeah.
The circle.
All right, guys, you gotta change the color.
Okay,
Perfect.
alright, so let's, so I think so, you guys are gonna wanna see maybe like one or two variations of this one. Now, Build Brookhaven is good as it stands,
Yeah,
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 okay?
Like the fonts?
yep, yep,
Well,
fine.
yes,
Yep,
yep.
Okay, and we're into the whaling sphere,
yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
okay? Well, I'm just trying to see which things we need to touch, so
Mhm.
if we're not
Just the
touching
color.
those, then we'll leave them alone,
Yeah.
okay?
Everybody likes that the D is overlapping the A.
Yes,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
There we go. Change-
I mean, I think that's,
we're just about there.
I think we're just
Yeah.
about there.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, no, this is the process, this is good, I like it.
Sounds good.
Okay, so we'll try to, get you a couple of new iterations soon. And then hopefully one of them is the one,
Yeah,
Good.
okay, good.
all
Awesome.
right? Any other
Thanks,
questions
guys.
for us?
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
All right,
Okay.
awesome.
Thank you so much.
Thank
All right,
you.
guys. Thank you.
Have a good day.
Have a good day,
All right,
guys.
you too, you too.
God bless you.
Bless you.
Started,
Gesundheit.
started with Ally.
I have no, I must be getting sick if I only sneeze once. Okay, so the only other thing that I want to bring to your attention is that our next meeting is actually scheduled for Friday, March 28th, not Wednesday. And our April meeting is in April on a Wednesday, the 23rd.
Don't borrow. At the beginning.
23rd.
Yeah, it's right after Easter.
My wife and the other thing.
1:30 on Friday.
1:30 on
1:30 on Friday.
Okay.
And 10 o'clock on the 23rd,
Go
on
from
May.
here to a field.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, dear.
Yeah. 63. Stroke.
Everybody that's here is gonna be here on Friday?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
Yep.
yep,
Mhm.
yep. Could be a quick one, right?
I would
Yeah.
think so.
yes. Oh, all right, well, I'd be a funeral to attend to.
Yes.
You mean for the meeting?
No, after,
No, okay.
2 to 4. Well, yeah, 2 to 4 is. A friend of mine, stroke, 63.
1:30.
That's the worst part.
1:30 on Friday.
If there's nothing further,
Oh,
Up
I
in
need a
Rochester,
motion to
and
adjourn.
So move.
oh,
Second.
Took 2 days.
All those in
for
favor?
all right.
Thank you.
his fellow